Angela, why can't we plug it in?
Well, look, have you ever heard of the video game Polybius?
No, I haven't.
No.
Sounds fun.
Sounds like a
Yeah, it
sounds like a
sounds
weird
fun.
mushroom or something.
It sounds
How do you spell it? P-O-L-I?
P-O-L-Y-B-I-U-S.
Polybius? Polybius?
Is it like Mobius?
This is not a game that to be, shall we say, toyed with. This game
Ooh, I like that.
isn't a game.
Well, what is it then?
Well, let me tell you a story. In 1981, in a few Portland, Oregon game rooms, a new and strange game appeared without any fanfare. The game was called Polybius. It was just basically a black cabinet like this one with Polybius, one controller, and that's it. And it seems that the game was an instant success. Almost immediately, lines began to form around it. But things seemed a little different. Players started playing almost obsessively, playing for hours on end, and some players even getting in fights for their turn at the game.
Okay, so this was a single-player game?
Yes.
But it was an arcade game, so obviously you would have people
Waiting.
Yeah, like when you
in line
put your
watching.
quarter up,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that style of game.
Or like the person right back behind that player going, "You suck. You're gonna die. You suck.
Right, you definitely turn around and hit that dude. Like,
I'm not gonna let you continue. You suck."
Yeah.
Like a backhand.
And then you just punch that 12-year-old right
Yeah.
in the face. Now, things started taking even a darker turn. Players began to feel nausea, tremors, amnesia, and some even started experiencing night terrors.
This all sounds like
Jeez.
standard gamer shit at this point. Like, this is like
Yeah,
kids
this is
just
what
locked
happens.
in on like Counter-Strike and stuff.
No, this kind of sounds like
Or
when
like
they
WoW.
had that Japanese TV show that would have those like red flashing screens and give all
Pokemon.
those people seizures.
That was
it
Pokemon. That was,
Are you
the original,
serious?
that was the original Pokemon.
What?
Yep, that's
Wow.
when they had the original Pokemon, they had to ban it for a while because the flashing lights of the transformations caused people to go into seizures.
Oh,
That
man.
had any epilepsy.
Early epilepsy stuff.
Yep. A lot of fun. So just, hey, if you got kids, just put them in front of Pokemon and wait a little bit. And, you know, that's
That's the
diagnosis.
That's how you
test.
know.
That's the test. That's the test. Just give them 5 minutes on that and you're good.
As host of this podcast, let me just say, do not do that if you have small children. All right, the
How do they
lawyer
know?
immediately called me on that one.
But still with this game, even though people were experiencing these extreme side effects, they reportedly couldn't stop playing. Now, no one is sure where these games came from or what their true purpose was. Even though one player reportedly tried to commit suicide
Jesus.
because of the constant night terrors he was getting from this game.
Okay.
But still, no one just, they just let it play. Hey, it's still making a lot of money. But there were multiple reports of sightings of, wait for it, men in black servicing the machines.
Oh, shit.
Witnesses say that they appeared to be extracting data from the machines and making slight changes to the circuitry. But one thing they never touched were the quarters. They seemed uninterested in the money the games made. And so they were always there and never take out the quarters. And of course, the game shop owner would just take the corners, but was never servicing the machine, never did anything else to it. Just opened up the front, took the quarters out, closed it up.
Are there any accounts of what the actual gameplay, like what was the story of this game?
That's the thing. There's a lot of different reports. Some people say that it was a puzzle sort of game. Some people say it was more of a quick shooter sort of game. One of the things they agree on is that it had, the graphics were far beyond anything at that time, that it used a combination of vector and raster graphics,
This
which you
was
can't really do in
81, you said?
81.
Wow.
Yeah. You can't do, I think now to do vector and raster graphics would be near impossible because of, they use a different sort of screen.
Well, it's also different engines, like
yeah.
graphics engines.
Oh, but with vector and raster, I mean, a vector game is something like, if you remember Tempest, where it's just lines, where that's vector graphics.
Kind of like
is
Asteroid, where you just shoot
right,
the
that's
thing with a
vector
little
graphics is
triangle.
lines. Raster is pixels. And so it was a combination of those two, which at the time wasn't really a possibility. Some have speculated that it was part of a government black ops experiment similar to MK Ultra.
Yeah.
That was either testing people's abilities for possible recruitment or testing people's limits to see how much stimulus the human brain could handle.
That's exactly what I thought, dude. Last Starfighter.
Last Starfighter,
Yes!
I love that movie.
And
Yes,
that's exactly
that's a
where
good
the
one.
movie got its impetus from, is from this story.
No.
Dude,
Really?
Last Starfighter is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
As like a kid who played video games, I was just
It was the
like,
best.
it was fantastic.
It was
It
the
was just
best.
like, oh man.
You're like, come on, let this happen.
Right.
But then you think about the game I was playing, like something like Robotron. Probably don't want that to happen.
Yeah,
But
Robotron was just
surrounded-
like a post-apocalyptic nightmare of like having to kill over and over and over again for like
And just- and then you
99
just-
levels, and then you
there's just
start
more of
over
them, and
again.
more of them, and more of them, and more of them.
I play pole position.
All right, so you were like an Italian like racer,
Yeah, that's
like
me at the age of 4.
Claudio.
I was 25. Now, there have been various theories about the origins of Polybius. In 2006, on a coinop.org comment section, and everything good comes from comment sections, a man named Stephen Roach said that he was a part of its creation, and he said he worked for a company called Sinislotion, but was commissioned by a South American company to do the work. But they soon found out that they were in over their heads with the advanced tech that they were working on. Now, the word Sinislotion is a quasi-German word loosely meaning sense delete or sensory deprivation.
Nice.
Some say it sounds like a German word made up by someone who doesn't know how to speak German.
Yeah.
Just that's not the way the words would be put together.
Sense deletion. What? Any
Was that
German would
German?
go,
I thought he was speaking
huh?
in German. That was absolutely amazing. I thought we had a German guy in the room. Fritz, I get it now!
I know a couple words.
Now, Roach's accounts have been largely brushed off. However, there was, in fact, a man named Stephen Roach who worked within a Mexican company that was working on behavior modification and possibly brainwashing, and it ended up getting shut down by the government, and reportedly Stephen and his wife are still on the run to this day.
No shit.
So, is there maybe some, truth to this? Now, there's a lot of questions on whether the game even ever existed. You can find a number of games on the internet that claim to recreate the gameplay of Polybius, but none of them seem to completely agree on all the elements of the game. But either way, you can never be quite sure what you're getting into when you're playing a mysterious video game that appears one day at your local game room, like this black shut-off cabinet right here that for some reason Angela thinks would be a keen idea for us to turn on.
Do you really consider this like a local game room?
No, I don't.
I live like
No.
2 hours from here.